In the name of the one who loves the beloved and love itself. Amen. She was much perplexed by this greeting and pondered on in her heart what this might mean. Mary ponders a lot. We're told elsewhere that as the story of the birth of her son unfolds, she keeps track of all the things that are happening around her, and she'll ponder them in her heart. There's a great tradition that suggests that Mary anticipates what's going to happen in the life of Jesus. That in her mother's heart, as she feels joy at his birth, she also feels immense grief because she knows he's going to have a difficult life. I saw on a friend's Facebook page this week a Renaissance painting which had Mary holding the baby Jesus in her arms. And it was painted not as though it was a stable, but a Renaissance living room, perhaps. If you look really carefully, in the middle behind Mary on the wall, there was a crucifix with her son's figure on it. She's holding the baby in her arms. And there is a foreshadowing just behind her. An anachronism maybe, but something that would have commonly been in a Renaissance living room. And there in the painting, reminding us of what was to come. So Mary keeps good company with us right now as we move towards Christmas in the middle of this pandemic, knowing that our traditions and the ways in which we will celebrate the festival will not be quite what we would like them to be. And also as we hold grief in our hearts, as we've lost loved ones at this time of year. There's a tradition of celebrating Blue Christmas, recognizing that this time of year is not easy for everyone, and perhaps this year in particular, not easy for any of us. And maybe it feels uncomfortable, holding joy and sorrow together in our hearts at the same time. And yet I realize we have language for this in our tradition. We have the language of the life of Mary herself. And there's also a story from the Godly Play canon that talks about this in particular. And I'm going to ask you to hear it with me. It doesn't belong to this time of year. It comes from the beginning of Lent. But I'm going to share it anyway because of this sense that in Mary's heart, the joy of Christmas and the sorrow of Good Friday are held side by side. So here's a bag. It's purple. Purple's the color of royalty. And we're thinking about the mystery of Easter, even though we're here in Advent. Perhaps the person who's coming at Easter is royal. I wonder what's inside. Here's a purple piece. Maybe that's like the first week of Lent. I wonder how many weeks there are in Lent. Here's a second one. Maybe there are 2. No? Here's a third. It's purple as well. And a fourth. If there are 4 Sundays in Lent, that means it's as long as Advent, and the mystery of Easter might take about as long to figure out as the mystery of Christmas. Oh, wait. The bag's not empty. Here's a fifth piece. 5 weeks of Lent. Maybe it's that long. It takes that long to work out the mystery of Easter. Oh, except there's one more. There's one more. 6 pieces. 6 purple pieces. You know, purple is a color for royalty, and maybe the one who is Easter is coming amongst us and he is royal. Purple's also a color for sadness. Maybe something sad is going to happen at Easter. Let's see if we can work this out. What is it? If I rearrange some of the pieces, what will I find? They're coming together. Oh, I see. It's a cross. It's a purple cross. That is sad. The one who comes at Christmas, the one we're expecting this Advent, when it comes to Easter, he will die on a cross. And that will be very sad. But the one who comes and dies on the cross will also come again. Wait. If I turn this piece over, it's white on the other side. White is the color of celebration. You see, if I turn all these pieces over, the sadness turns into happiness. The grief turns into celebration. Easter turns everything inside out. Sadness becomes joy. In fact, if you look really carefully at these pieces, you'll realize that the purple and the white exist on each piece. They are side by side. The sadness and the happiness, which come together to make something else. Joy. Joy itself is a combination of sadness and happiness. And we need to be open to both in order to really celebrate this season of Christmas and understand the mystery of Easter. So I wonder how Mary felt when she heard the news that she was going to have God's Son. I wonder what kind of joy she felt. I wonder what kind of fear she felt as she anticipated what it might be like to bring up the Son of God and see him growing in the world that she knew to be so flawed. I wonder if she anticipated his death. I wonder why In the light of that anticipation, she said yes anyway. I wonder how she found it in her heart to say, "Be it unto me according to your word." I wonder if she knew that we have to embrace sadness and happiness to really experience joy. This morning, as we call to mind our loved ones who we see no longer, who we were not able to be with as they passed, for whom the prayers of the church had to be offered through FaceTime, as we think of all of that, can we also remember the happiness and joy they brought us? Margot's spiritual direction, Ruth's colour picking and decoration, and the events she planned, Ray singing in the choir, Sally's prayerfulness. As we remember them with sorrow, can we also remember with joy? And let's enter into this season, in this most difficult time in our country's history, in our world's history, ready to face the difficulty, but also reaching out our hand so that the one who was born at Christmas, who died at Easter, and who rose again, can take us by the hand and guide us. Amen.